Hello everyone, I'm Space was in Total War. Welcome on into the Total War Pharaoh Early Access. In this series of videos we are going to be going over all of the new units that Pharaoh is bringing, broken down by both the regional native units recruitable by all factions provided they own territory in that area, and the faction units unique to the individual playable factions in the game. To make things easy to locate, all native regions will have their own video and are going to be sorted into a playlist. And all faction units are going to be grouped by their overall cultural alignment, Egyptian, Canaanite, and Hittite, and they're also going to have their own playlist once the second video for each is uploaded. If there are any changes made to the overall stats and abilities, I'm going to do my best to add those into a pinned comment in this video, that way it's easy to compare the old to the new. If there are any changes that I've forgotten to add over time, feel free to bother me as much as you want in the comments till I get that sorted. There is so much here I'm likely going to overlook a few things by mistake. I'd also really like to know your thoughts on Pharaoh itself. I personally am very excited for this title, even if it isn't the Medieval 3 I was hoping for. I can't give a proper review, but I have deep love for all ancient combat, and this title looks beautiful and runs far more smoothly than Warhammer. For this first video here, as you've probably surmised by the title, we are going to be going over the Nubian and Kushite native units. I've got the most time overall played with these guys here, and if you start as Amun Mes, they're going to be the backbone of your armies, starting smack dab in Kushite lands. Like with all native units, any faction is going to be able to recruit them. You simply need to conquer lands inside of this territory on the map. And then you have your workers fix up the native recruitment building, and you've got yourself some Nubian and Kushite troopers. You'll find the Nubian and Kushite approach to war very different, but also very complementary of one another, with your Nubians being very lightly armored, usually only with a round shield for defense, but very speedy, and with more stamina than most units. Two Nubian melee units are both wielding clubs for offense, which is fully armor piercing, and will also do extra damage to their foes' depletable armor. Both the recruits and Nubian clubmen boast higher melee defense than offense, with fairly low charge bonus. These are lightly armored, speedy frontline units, made to hold an enemy in place and wear them down with both armor piercing damage and the ability to speedily weaken enemy armor, to allow for your elite Nubian and Kushite archers to quickly finish them off. As light units, the trade-off to speed is that they will suffer in prolonged combat, so it is best to utilize them in tandem with archers or other flanking support to reduce your losses. Your missile troops are going to share the incredibly light armor, maxing out at 30 with the highest tier. The Nubian hunters are an excellent early tier javelin thrower. They are very cheap, very speedy, and have 14 armor-piercing javelins, which are very good at taking down enemy generals out of nowhere, as these guys come with the ability to gain unspottable and stock for 60 seconds, help sneakily close the gap and move on those exposed flanks. We do get some bad where the base Nubian archers are not all that great. Very low armor, very low range, and lower than usual missile damage for others in the same tier makes them only worth recruiting if you really need cheap expendable archers, as bows have slightly more armor piercing than slings. That being said, the problem with low armor, low range archers is they are easy prey for enemy slingers, and you'll have your ranks decimated before they can even get close to loose a volley. I think they should have their range bumped to 175 or 180 to reflect the prowess of even the most basic Nubian bowman outclasses all others, but leave all of their other stats alone so they don't become oppressive. Complaints stop there though, as the Nubian longbowmen and their renowned counterparts are incredibly deadly, and are tied for the highest range of all native units at 230. The only bowman with the ability to shoot further being in Amun Mes's faction, and that being the Tasseti longbowmen at 240 range, only 10 more. These guys are also going to be by no means a hybrid unit, so you'll really want to keep them well away from the fighting due to their very low armor, and utilize their incredible range to keep them safe from return fire. The Kushite melee and missile infantry are all going to be medium armored, and the melee version is going to be spear and shield defenders. They are going to be able to hold the line a bit longer than their Nubian counterparts, and deal some solid damage back to any light armored opponents they face. Being spearmen, they'll also be very important for bringing down enemy chariots, but in terms of stats, they are very on par with most other native spearmen. Don't expect them to rack up a crazy kill count or hold the line like the Spartans at Thermopylae. They will boast a very potent 65% missile block with their larger shields, and can form up into a spear wall to further increase their resistance to missile fire, as well as grant them charge reflection, which means that for as long as they remain braced, they will have the charge bonus of whichever unit is charging into them applied to their attacks, making most foes think twice about a frontal charge on your Kushite lines. Kushites are also going to be your only real armor in these territories, so they are going to be an important anvil and shield to your nearly unarmored Nubian troops. Same can be said for the archers of Kush. Both are wearing medium armor, with your first tier archers having 45, a whole 35 more than the Nubians. They'll also just have 150 range, but come with the activated ability Blot Out the Sun, which will drastically speed up their reload time at a cost to accuracy and a bit of their stamina. Their upgraded renowned counterparts will have 10 more armor, 190 range, and the same Blot Out the Sun ability, and they'll be also able to use fire arrows, making them a very solid archer unit built for withstanding a bit more return fire and keeping the enemy away from your Nubian longbows. The Nubian and Kushite units do lack any chariot options, however, which does put them at a pretty extreme disadvantage against any opponent utilizing the mobility and crushing power of the premier weapon system of the Bronze Age. They also lack any amount of heavy armor, same as the rest of the Egyptians, so you'll really want to make use of your mobility and maintain map control on choke points and geographical advantages to achieve victory. But what do you all think about the units in this region? How do you all think they'll stack up against their Egyptian and Western desert rivals? Or the more heavily armored Canaanite and Hittite foot soldiers? Let me know in the comments, but that is all for this video. Next will be about the warriors who specialize in desert fighting above all else. Remember to leave a like for the like god and a sub for the subtone. I'll see you all in the next one.